Let me get this straight. Charlize Theron says there's no more room for hate, only love. Is that before or after she F's up parents who would rather their children weren't sexualised by strange men parading as pornified women? You have to love Hollywood stars preaching love by advocating violence. It should be obvious by now that when leftists insist that the world needs more love, what they really mean is more people approving of their perverse worldview. And when leftists say there's no room for hate, they really mean there's absolutely no room for the views of civilised people. If you dare to argue that men dressed in women's lingerie should not be dancing provocatively in front of 5-year-olds, you're the one who's dangerous. Seriously, that's what our cultural elites now believe.
There's so many things that are hurting and really killing our kids, and we all know what I'm talking about right now, and it ain't no drag queen.
Let's have a look at who Charlize Theron believes is really hurting our kids. We all know what I'm talking about right now.
Very young kids, and they must have been like 9, 10 years old, at a, quote, drag show where they were putting money in the underwear of this, and that is totally inappropriate. That is not something that children should be exposed to, and so we may have the ability to deal with that if something like that happens.
Oh yes, I see what Charlize Theron was warning us about. That, of course, was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis threatening mortal harm on children by preventing them from putting dollar bills in the G-strings of drag queens. But it's even worse than that. Charlize Theron says there are people not only hurting, but really killing our kids. And we all know what I'm talking about right now.
There's a movement to inject these things like gender ideology in elementary schools even. And my view is our schools need to be teaching these kids to read and write and add and subtract and do the things what it's supposed to be done in school. Injecting these agendas into it is wrong, and that's why we did the Parents' Rights in Education bill.
Evil conservatives who prefer children learning to read and write so they can one day be gainfully employed rather than marinating in gender ideology so they can become full-time clients of pharmaceutical companies are the real danger. The world doesn't need more people obsessed with parental rights and classical education. What the world needs is more drag queens reading to children.
If you've ever seen a drag queen lip sync for her life,
yep,
it only makes you happier. It only makes you love more. It makes you a better person.
Ah, yes, a man cavorting half naked before children only makes them happier, more loving, and better people. Wouldn't your children be better people for experiencing that? I'm all for Charlize Theron's right to do whatever she wants in the privacy of her own home, but when you start cramming gender fluidity down kids' throats and then side with activists who want to take away parental rights, you're picking a fight with the wrong people. You don't get between a parent and their kid, because that's when trouble really does start.